swept up in today's independent music.
Good morning, everyone, and in case it's not morning where you're at, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I am your host, Anthony Longhair Leclair, and I'm joined by my fabulous co-host, the marvelous Marla the Mouse McHardy.
What's up, everybody?
Good question.
Yeah, it is a good question, I figured.
Yeah. So this is our second video format podcast, and instead of a single sweep today, we are reviewing for you an album.
Ooh.
After I close the window. I can't even get mad because he's playing Metallica.
I was like, I mean, for all the times that people blare their music, that's not a bad one.
We're going to wait for the obnoxious sound of his vehicle to go by, though. Okay, it's probably fine. So, today, for Swept Up, we are going to be reviewing the cAbiners' latest album, Waiting for You.
Waiting for you.
Waiting for you.
You, people watching right now.
What do you mean, you people?
What am I, Don Cherry?
Oh. Canadian burn.
Oh!
Yeah, so the cAbiners are, I guess, quite a bit like us in that they're a folk duo from Northern Ontario. Mm-hmm. They've been around a bit longer. I think officially they started going by the cAbiners in 2017. They started playing together in 2014.
Okay.
I believe. But, yeah, so they adopted their name in 2017, so they've been around for a few years. They have an interesting... I mean, this is where they're very much like us in that they cover a lot of music, so a whole lot of even just their album is cover songs. So, like Love Hurts, for example, which is one of my favorite Nazareth songs.
Me too.
Then they also have Ahead by a Century, if you're, a hip fan.
Great hip song, though. In my opinion.
No, it's fine. No, here's the thing. I like the hip. I just don't like Gord Downey's voice. I know a lot of people are getting upset now. And,
look it.
I don't care.
You pissed them off.
So? Have you met me?
I was going to say, I know you don't care at all.
I mean, I don't want to upset people, but I'm entitled to my own correct opinion, so. Whatever. No, I like the hip. Mm-hmm. I just prefer to sing it myself.
Yeah, I know, and I'm also just totally bugging you.
Send Bob Cajun. I saw the constellation. Shut up, Gord. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like, oh, thank fuck he's dead. I'm not one of those people. Mm-hmm. I know some of those people. I'm not one of those people.
Mm-hmm. I would hope not.
Yeah, I mean, that sucks. And that is the end of an intense alternative Canadian music era right there. Mm-hmm. But I would rather just sing the music without his voice there.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
But this has nothing to do with Tragically Hip, other than the fact that the cAbiners happen to have covered one of their songs. They also covered some Beatles stuff, so I Want to Hold Your Hand is on that album as well. So the album is like a good half and half, I'd say. So that being said, we're not going to do full half of the album in review. We're only going to review 3 of their songs. So we're going to start off with the titular track, Waiting for You.
You.
We're waiting.
You.
I've been waiting for you.
Have you?
It's the name of a horror movie that you haven't seen yet. But,
okay, references.
But you're going to. Gia knows what I'm talking about if she's watching this. So, because she's the one who gave me the VHS tape.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know what a VHS tape is,
What are you doing with your life?
grow up. Take a history class, I guess,
Yeah.
at this point. In my history classes, we played VHS tape.
Yeah, mine too. It's funny because I was listening to Spotify the other day, and of course I have the not subscription, so I don't pay for it, and they give you ads when you don't pay for it, and one of them was like, you could be listening to vinyl right now, you could be listening to a CD, you could be listening to an 8-track, if you even know what an 8-track is, and I was like, of course I know what an 8-track is, don't patronize me.
The thing that I believe you'll find is pronounced patronize, but it means to talk down to people.
I know.
Sorry, every time I get an opportunity when someone says patronize instead of patronize,
You like to patronize them about it?
Yeah, but speaking of patronizing people, we just started our own Patreon account. So if you would like to patronize us rather than patronize us, please, by all means, the links are in the description below. I'd say it's going to be somewhere right here, like a button that you can have right here. But as you might have noted from the last video, take that, Dave. But as you might have noticed from the last video in the little note I put in there, we can't actually do that until we've monetized on YouTube. So watch way more of this and just all the hours of it and help us get subscribers and whatnot so we can monetize, so that we can just make it easier for you to patronize us by being right up here in Dave Gilmore's, situation. So...
Situation.
Correct. So we are going to kick off with Waiting for You by the Cabiners.
I was on my own, and I was just fine. Then you came along, didn't waste any time. Sweet songs are sleeping until noon, waiting, I hope you'll be back soon. Got nothing to do, waiting for you. Ooh. You lift me up, you let me shine, you fill my heart by love and mine. Ooh. You were brave and true, right from the start. Art, a masterpiece in tune, my lion heart. Art, days long and babe, so are the nights. Waiting, let's just take our time. I need you to unwind. Got a lot on my mind, and I know you do too. Waiting for you. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh.
So, and is Waiting for You by the Cabiners.
That is a delightful song. That's the best way I can think of to describe that. It's like very... It has like the nice bright ukulele in there, and you just kind of want to sit there and go like this.
which we did for like half the song.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's a very cute song.
It is. Very much so.
And Yeah, there's something about the simplicity of it that just makes it like as you say, like this this bopping thing. Like a lot of people harp on like, oh fuck, well anyone could play that. Like that's a simple song, and then of course our buddies Andy and Rob would say, yeah, but you didn't. So too bad.
Yeah.
The cAbiners did though, and the thing about it too is that it creates a song that, and I don't know if this is part of their whole deal, like with their title and everything, but then I think about Sitting by a Fire, which you can't do right now in Northern Ontario legally.
Yeah.
You can be fined many thousands of dollars and be put in jail for a long time because they don't want to, you know, choke up emergency services with people being done with fire for obvious reasons.
Fair.
Yeah, but yeah, it makes me yearn for that thing that I want to do, which is sit around a campfire.
Sit around a campfire
And,
at a cabin.
Well, at a cabin or not, whatever. But yeah, it just makes me think about sitting by a fire at a cabin or a beach or a little campground or whatever, and just doing a little jam. Like that's the kind of feel I get from that song.
Yeah.
And it just happens to be a cute little love story as well, right? So, and I have to say, yes, I love that it's simple, because a lot of people harp on people being simple, and I think it's taken for granted, because sometimes it's difficult to be simple but effective.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing, too. It's like, there's some songs out there that are just, like, 3 chords, and wildly successful songs, like Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. 3 chords. Only 3 chords. So, yeah, I absolutely agree with you on the fact that, like, people definitely harp on simplicity, but when there's actually real nice beauty behind it sometimes, for sure.
Yeah, my favorite 2-chord song is Something in the Way by Nirvana.
Yeah, there you go.
It's probably one of the only 2-chord songs I know, but yeah. But yeah, I will say though, at the end with the ooze going through there's, because we're reviewing, so sorry guys, I'm gonna criticize as well, but that's part of the show. So I wish that. So Dave is his name. I don't know his last name. I know, and then it's Lonnie Kungle. But Dave should stay on that same spot with the ooze, and then when she's doing the higher bit, I think she should go even higher on one of them.
Yeah.
Because at one point, just so that, because they do it several times at the end, right? Which is fine. Repetition's good because it gets it in people's heads. Like that ooh is going to be stuck in my mind now for.
It's already stuck in my mind.
Yeah. But if it was just like, instead of just a ooh, it could be like ooh, you know, like that was slightly flat, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, I get that.
I don't sing that fucking high typically. So
Yeah.
unless I'm doing my hair metal shit, which is a whole other thing.
Whole different level. Yeah, no, I get what you're trying to convey there, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, other than having just like a slight bit of variation vocally, musically, I think it was, like, instrumentally, it was there. It was well structured. And
yeah, I love the little ukulele solo in there. That's a nice little touch there.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, and they give it a good amount of space.
Yeah.
Like the effect on the uke is like, it makes it much bigger than it definitely is, because, you know, that's actually an instrument that's smaller than you.
It is. It's why I like to play one.
And there aren't
one of the many reasons, but
there aren't many there that are smaller than you. Like, your Taylor guitar is bigger than my 6 anyway, and on you is like, it's like your size. It's wider than you are.
Like, the body of that guitar is like my torso.
Except taller and wider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, so anyway, that was Waiting for You. That was the first track that we were going to review. The second track, we're just going to hop right in and we'll talk about it after the fact.
Alrighty.
And by the way, I didn't actually specify with the band that this is the case, but I'm pretty sure I know that it's their originals based on the capital A somewhere amid their titles. You might notice from the cAbiners title itself that there's no capital C at the start. It's the capital A in cAbiners.
Yes.
As if to suggest that there is a cabin in their...
I like that.
In their title.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah, and it makes it super easy when you're doing posters and stuff. You don't actually have to do a picture or anything with it. You can just be like, and the capital A, and then you understand.
Exactly.
So, in terms of marketing, you made it pretty easy for yourselves as well. So, yeah. Anyway, hopping right into track number 2. It's not actually track number 2 of the album, but
it's just the second track we're reviewing.
It's the second original. We just went through and like randomly chose one of the originals. So we started with the first original, which is Waiting for You, and then we're going to finish with the last original on the album, and then we just chose a random one in the middle. So we're just going to jump in and then we'll talk about it.
You're a song, you're a daydream, so far away from the real thing, the escape from the failing, adventuring away, no restraining. When are we gonna fly? But you don't even want it anymore. Why do you wonder why? When you don't even want it anymore. Do you cry? Do you see me? Your eyes far away as it can be. No reply, no explaining, no time for escaping. When are we gonna fly? You don't even want it anymore. Why do you wonder why? When you don't even want it anymore. You don't even want it anymore. When are we gonna fly? You don't even want it anymore. Why do you wonder why? If you don't even want me anymore. You used to hold my hand. Now you don't even want it anymore. And no one understands that you don't even want it anymore. I don't even want it anymore.
So, that was Daydreams by the cAbiners.
I quite like that track.
It's far more complex than the last one.
It is, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely, and that definitely goes back to the whole, like, simplicity thing. Like, that one was definitely a lot more simple than this one. But I love this track. I love this. There's some bits of it it's really interesting. Like, I don't know, it was some kind of synth in the background, I think, but I heard it and I was like, wow, that's, like, kind of Beatle-y. Like, there were bits of it that were, like, kind of making me think of the Beatles.
The first thing I thought when I heard it was Strawberry Fields.
Yeah, exactly. There's, like, a little bit of that, like, I don't know. Is it, like, an organ or something? Like, what is that instrument? I'm trying to...
Fucked if I should know.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was, like... It was, like, a flute or, like, some kind of synth or something. But regardless, it made me think of the Beatles, which is great. Mm-hmm. And it really added to the whole, like... dreamy aspect of the song, which I guess is kind of what they're going for, considering the title of the song. But yeah, I like that. I really like that.
Yeah, it's so yeah, that for sure that was some sort of synth. That wasn't a flute or anything. Just from the modulation of it, you could tell that it was synthetic. But there also was keys, which was nice.
Yeah,
and I liked the cello coming in. That made me smile. I didn't hear it well enough or enough of it to tell if it was synth or not. It could have just been, a virtual instrument. But I mean, if you got a cellist or if one of you guys plays cello, then fucking awesome on you guys. But yeah, so that was great. Whenever that comes in on a song like that, I would love to. That being said, halfway through the song, I was just like, I wonder what this sounds like live, because it's just the two of them.
Yeah.
Like, does one of them play keys then for that song, or like does one of them play cello for which instrument would the other one play? And because Dave presumably would be playing guitar for it, and then Lonnie, I guess, would I don't know, would she just switch it out for like a uke version of it, or
I'm curious to hear that.
Because usually, when we've podcasted, it's always been like, usually it's pop music that we're talking about, but it's like, if that were like stripped down in an acoustic version, what would that sound like? And this is an acoustic song for the most part, but still, given that we know they are a folk duo, like what must the song sound like when it's just the two of them on stage? I'd really love to know.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Or do they play this song when they're live? You know what I mean?
Also a valid question.
Depending, especially since, like us, they do a fuck ton of covers.
Yeah.
So, and we do throw our own music in there as well, but in comparison to the breadth of covers that we do, because we play the bar scene and everyone wants to hear fucking Freebird and all that stupid shit. I think no one ever actually wants to hear that song.
Yeah, I think it's just a thing that people want to do if someone decides that they want to be funny or a jackass at a concert.
I want to track down who started that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then I want to wish upon them something that should be served with lime. Is all I'll say to that.
All you'll say about that.
No, I wouldn't wish that virus on anyone, but...
No.
No, you know what? I would wish them just a Corona beer. Because... yeah, sure, like, the coronavirus is bad, but at least it doesn't taste like piss.
That's pretty valid.
Yeah.
I would say.
But anyway, yeah, I would wish upon whoever started this thing, like, a case of shit beer. Which, to me, is all beer.
Yeah,
so
because it's not even funny anymore. Yet, so many people think they're being funny when they do it, which I don't understand.
And it happens... almost every gig we played.
Oh,
Freebird, shut up. Like,
You're not funny.
I would prefer it if people asked for Wagon Wheel every time.
Oh, yeah.
One, because that's actually a song that a folk duo can do with just a guitar and vocals. But, like, just one guitar, you can't actually do Freebird anyway.
No.
Because
not easily, at least.
No, you can't. Not unless you stop keeping the rhythm of the song, break into the solo by yourself, and then just do the solo with nothing behind it, and then come back to the rhythm to do it.
That's
Like,
true.
Makes no sense. I think most of the people who yell that have never heard that fucking song.
Yeah. Probably not, actually.
If you're one of
That's
those
a
people who
good
yells
point.
Freebird out at the bar and you haven't heard that song within the last 5 or 10 years, you can fuck yourself, okay? How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have a nice sit down with yourself before you think about doing that and go, no, just don't do it. Just don't do it, folks.
No one's going to have a sit down with themselves and say, just don't do it.
Well,
Especially
I'm having
at a
to sit
bar.
down with you right now.
I was going to say, especially at a bar where there's alcohol.
Yeah. If you're thinking about yelling Freebird, just think of my face going, don't fucking do it.
Or just think of us saying, here's your free bird, while we both go. So there's that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was Daydreams by the Cabiners, getting back to the, reason we're here. And rather than just bitching about assholes at bars, of which there are very few now, because the only assholes in bars now are some of the staff.
Oh my God.
And none of them are servers, so... Because it's all just the kitchen staff now.
Yep.
Well, I guess there must be some service depending, because they also serve booze now with takeout. Mm-hmm. And unless the kitchen staff have their smart serve, they can't do it.
Yeah.
So legally, I mean, I'm sure it still happens. We are living in North Bay after all, but
Yeah.
yeah. So now we're going to move on to the final. It's not the final track of the album. It's the second last track of the album, but the final, from what I understand, the final original on the album. So we are going to just jump straight into that, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. I have not heard this song at all. And I should specify that other than Waiting for You, I didn't listen to either of the other songs.
And I hadn't heard
beforehand.
anything at all. So
Yeah, so there you go.
yeah. So I'm listening to this as you're listening to this. Well,
Yeah. Well,
I mean, technically before.
like
but,
hours later,
you know,
or maybe a day, who knows?
You're
depending on-
experiencing it as at the same time
At-
from watching the video.
at the same time as the virtual us
Yeah.
are, yeah, you know what we mean.
You know what I mean.
So, yeah. Here we go.
Here we go.
And Driving Away by the Cabiners.
Sorry.
Driving away, together for another day. Driving away, now I'm driving away. I pray that God will keep you safe. Driving away, you told me everything would be okay, and you told me we'd be together someday, hiding away, seeing who we really are, hiding away. Now we're hiding away from a reality that seems so far, hiding away. You told me everything would be okay, and you told me we'd be together someday. Lying away, I can't sleep because I'm too in love. Lying away, now I'm lying away, but you're the one that I'll be dreaming of. Lying away, you told me everything would be okay, and you told me we'd be together someday, and you told me everything would be okay, and you told me we'd be together someday. together someday. Hey, hey, hey. We'll be together someday. Hey, hey, hey. We'll be together someday. Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah. So that's Driving Away by the CAbiners.
Nice. Another very, like, pleasant song. It's interesting because when I heard the title, I was kind of expecting it to be a breakup song. Because, like, I don't know, in my mind, like, driving away from somebody. And so, like, I was expecting it to be a lot sadder of a song than it actually was. I was like, oh, that's actually kind of really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are moments of conflict, like with the bit in the chorus, right? Like, you told me everything was going to be okay, right? Like,
Yeah.
at least that first section of the chorus before it resolves is like, oh, things did not go how you wanted to. Is how I interpret it. But
I mean, I was kind of thinking of it as in, like, someone's in distress and they're like, oh, everything's going to be okay. Like, you told me everything would be all right. So I guess you could interpret it in a couple different ways. But, yeah.
I just took it just because it in that moment to me doesn't sound like super uplifting, right? Like the rest of like the verse sounds kind of, it's very sweet sounding, and then at that point it gets like there's some right, and that makes me think like it's like fuck you, you told me, you know. But then it resolves again at the end of the chorus, and it goes sweet again. So while I was listening to this, I was thinking that so I do love their harmonies. It's great.
Yeah.
And Dave's got a pretty fucking good range. Because he gets up there in this song, for sure.
I noticed that, yeah.
But I would love to hear, and maybe this is like the other 2 or 3 originals that we just didn't check out, which we will check out after finishing recording here. We're just not going to do a full album because sitting here for, an hour and a half talking about music, people might not dig into the whole episode.
That's fair.
If people want that, then cool. Let us know, I guess. But otherwise, we're just going to do our normal thing, which is 3 tracks from an album, and there it is.
This is our format. We're sticking to it. For now.
Yeah, it is what we said when we started the Daily Streak.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, it's changed so many times, though.
Not so many times, relax.
Not so many times, but a few.
But, I forget, I have to refrain from touching my face. Which I've been doing the whole time. Like, I sat through the whole first song like, Not that anyone would notice, because we were actually we're going to be playing the music video over top, rather than just having us sitting here looking at the camera.
No one can see you touching your face.
It's fucking weird when you do it. But yeah, so I was wondering during this about if they ever feel inclined to highlight one another's voices separately. Because Lonnie's voice, I think, comes out as like, she is the main vocalist of the duo, right? Like Dave plays the guitar, Lonnie is the singer, and then Dave is the backing vocals, right? Is the impression I get from listening to what I have so far of their music.
Yeah, that's the impression that I get too. I mean, to be fair, though, we haven't listened to the whole album, but yeah, from the 3 songs we've heard, that's the impression I get as well.
Preface that already. I mean, that's... but yeah, so I would love... So we're going to dig into the other songs off camera, but I really hope that you guys take the time to do your own stuff as well. Just because I think like harmonies are great and that's awesome, but there were moments even in Driving Away that I was like, I would love it if just one of them took a moment and then the other took a moment and then they came together. So like even in the chorus, right? Like toward the end, the first "you told me" could be Dave singing, and then the second "you told me" could be Lonnie singing, and then they come back and harmonize the end of the chorus and then run it again, right? Or that kind of thing. I don't know, just back and forth, whatever. Or even just having your own songs. And in the covers, that might be a thing. as well, but I wasn't going to dig into the covers because everyone's heard those songs before, and I wanted to showcase your guys' music. So if anyone wants to hear the cAbiners doing covers, check out what I assume will be however many online stream gigs they do while all of this insanity is going forward with COVID-19, and then once it's all cleared up and the bars open up and they're playing again, you can check them out there if you want to listen to their covers. But here we're plugging their own original music because we want to support their creation of original music.
Exactly.
So, speaking of which, we have to get recording our shit.
We do.
But yeah, so awesome. The cAbiners, Northern Ontario folk duo. I think they're great. They have a sweetness to them that I'm kind of surprised about. If only because I find a lot of northern music is a little harder or a little rougher around the edges, I think.
Yeah.
Just because there's that feeling, like that sense of, oh, you're up north and it's tough to be up here and blah, 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 right? All that bullshit. I mean, we have between us some, like, sweet songs, I guess, but even all of mine, even the sweetest of my songs are still have moments of, like, you know, not to say they're metal songs, I just mean, like, that some intensity that isn't, as, like, even in their most intense moment in Driving Away, I was just like, there's still such a vulnerability that I was like, that's surprising and wonderful. And like you say they're very pleasant. It's very pleasant music, right?
It's like very pleasant to listen to. That's the best word I can use to describe that.
And now, welcome to Easy Listening with the cAbiners, you know? Yeah, but so I definitely want to check them out live when the opportunity arises, just to see how they hit it out at a bar.
Yeah, for sure.
And I imagine that they're in the same boat as us in that as well, where it's like, well, when you play the bars, is the reason you have to do the covers is because all of your own stuff is not necessarily stuff that people would go to a bar expecting to listen to for 2 hours. You know, waiting to do, like, we hope to do eventually, like, venues specific to people coming out and hearing our stuff, right? So.
And the other thing, too, is, like, when you are playing bar gigs, a lot of time it's, like, 3 hours, 4 hours. So, like, unless, you know, you've been doing it for a while or you're a very prolific songwriter, like, you may not have that much of your own music. I know I certainly don't.
Yeah, I didn't. Sure, I didn't mean that, though. I meant, like, even if it was a 4-hour gig they were playing, them doing 2 hours of their own music, if it's all this kind of music, I don't think they would get away with a ton of interest from a lot of people who go to bars, especially when there's live music. They want something that's peppier, something that's going to lift them up, and then the occasional song that's going to bring them down to buy another drink or 5 because they're feeling down, right?
Yeah, and
like,
people also just want to hear songs they know, too.
Exactly, so that's what I mean. So whether or not they're playing a 2 or 4 hour gig, if they only have 2 hours of music, or they have whatever length of their own music, the cAbiners style of music from their originals that we've heard, having played at the bars long enough, I think is not something that they could get away with just doing a whole gig of at a bar. Like, they need a venue that's dedicated to, hey, the cAbiners are playing here, come check them out. Like, maybe the Raven, if they're playing there, right? Like that, because typically when people go to the Raven, it's like they're going to see that act as opposed to going to the bar and then there's music. Yeah. Right? Like the Fox, Cecil's, Lou Dogs, you're going there for the atmosphere. Well, some of those places you're not going for the atmosphere. But like, but you're going there for other reasons. The food, the drink, the people you already know there, whatever else. You're going there, and then there's live music. And then you get to take that in, right? So those kinds of places, I think it'd be a tougher sell with the cAbiners music. Which makes total sense why they do covers and why half of their first album is covers. But is also why we're going to say fuck that, we're promoting your own music.
Exactly.
Because you should be playing, I don't know, wherever people would just go out to see you, right? Having done the bar scene for way too many years, and I know there are people who just stick with the bar scene always and whatever, but sometimes it's just, also depends on where you live too. North Bay's bar scene isn't exactly like,
it can be kind of soul-sucking at
well,
times.
it's just not necessarily booming, right? So
Yeah.
you're either doing like a practice gig because you're playing for 5 people, or you're playing for a packed place and everyone's yelling "Freebird, Wagon Wheel." Do you know this one of 50 country songs that we list that you have no idea about? So that,
Or
that
they're
can
just
be,
altogether not even paying attention.
or almost falling over your gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it gets, or they think it's karaoke. So yeah, it can get a little nutty. And I had moments of that kind of shit in Toronto and Halifax and Ottawa and places that I played, but like, yeah, North Bay is a different beast.
It sure is.
So it's kind of sweet that you get to cut your teeth here, actually, because then when we go elsewhere, you're gonna be like, ha.
This is so much easier.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's like learning to play on a shitty guitar. Then once
Yeah.
you get like an actually nice guitar that like has good action, you're like, wow, this is so much easier to play, and I can actually play better now having played on a guitar that was hard to play, which is how I learned how to play guitar.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. I mean, well, the first guitar I had was an electric, so I mean, I've never played an electric that had action that was actually brutal in comparison to my first acoustic, which then did have, well, not my first acoustic, because my first acoustic was my 12-string TAC, which is my baby.
Yeah. My first acoustic guitar was a $60 blue Chinese guitar from the Hawk Shop that couldn't really stay in tune to save its life. So that's what I learned on.
My second acoustic was the TAC Jasmine, which had some pretty super high action. So when I was learning on that, I was like, Also, learning on a 12-string is way easier, in my opinion. Harder if you don't have hands that can reach across the wider neck, like yours.
If you have bigger hands, it's easier, but my
yeah, but then
baby
just
fingers.
the surface area with the strings is easier on your fingers. So when I started playing the Jasmine as well, I was like, oh my god. And then I really learned what that was like. And now I can just play anything, whatever.
Yeah.
And people are just like, oh, well, that's a shitty guitar. I'm like, it's a guitar. Can I play a song on it? Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyway, we got way off topic and just started talking about shit gigs and shit guitars. So, but now we play Taylor's. Hashtag not a sponsor. Hashtag sponsor us. Hashtag fuck you, pay me. And speaking of paying us, if you would like to, as we discussed earlier, begin to patronize us, as opposed to patronize us, we don't care about your patronizing, but we would love your patronage.
We would.
So we started up a Patreon. There's a link to the description. There's a link in the description below. So do feel free to sign up. There are all sorts of different perks depending on the level you decide to jump in at. And this includes, compilation albums of ours of different covers that we do, which you get to recommend, and private live streams for patrons, and original artwork.
Yeah.
And story
By
time,
me.
explicit story time, which is fun. We'll be releasing some stories on our YouTube channel, Leclair Studios, by the way. And, that's the other YouTube channel. This is Swept Up.
Yeah.
But the other one that powers this one. But you'll get the explicit version of those stories where we have our initial reactions about
It's fun
everything.
times.
Yeah, because kids'
It's
books
really
are
fun
fucked.
times. Yeah, they are. And I mean, even if you can't or don't want to pitch money, sharing it on your social media still helps us out too. So
Yeah. So yeah. So do check out the cAbiners. There are links to their stuff down below. Check out their videos on YouTube and check out their music. Buy their album. Pay for the album because it's worth it to support music, especially
Absolutely.
independent music, at this point in time, when no musician can go out and play a gig. They all have to do it from home or in like a venue with no audience while they live stream it. So any bit helps. So do go and buy the cAbiners album Waiting for You, because they are waiting for you to buy it. So, see what I did there? Smooth transition.
I do see what you did there.
So,
They're waiting for you to listen to it.
That's right. Mainly to buy it, though, probably.
Yeah.
Like, from being honest.
But if you're going to buy it, you're also going to listen to it, too.
Or you're just going to send it to someone else and be like, oh, whatever. You know? Anyway, so that's it for us for this episode. I'm going to go crack open a cider and then start editing this. So that it can be up tomorrow, I guess.
I'm going to hang out in self-isolation.
With me.
Yeah. So semi-self-isolation, because you're also there.
Yeah. I infect you. I infect you.
Ah!
I infect you. I infect you. With love.
Okay.
So, okay. Anyway, that's us. Go buy the cAbiners stuff. Go enjoy their music. It'll brighten your day while you have to sit in isolation. It's going to remind you of all the things that you love to do outside if you're that kind of person, and that's going to make you sad. But at least it's uplifting music, so hopefully that'll fix things too a bit.
Music heals your soul and saves your sanity.
Which sucks for me, because I neither have a soul nor sanity, but what do you do? Anyway, have a good one, guys.
We'll see you guys later.
Swept Media. Get swept up in today's independent music.